Welcome to Table Talk. I'm your host, Karen Wilson. We have a great show for you today. My guests are with the Warren County Memorial Airport, which was started in 1944 and became operational in 1948. Our county now boasts a new experimental aviation association and also an aviation leadership academy. So today's guests are the president, Jerry Lassiter, and also EAA Board of Director Derek Rowe, and who is also a Tennessee Aviation Hall of Famer. I feel very lucky to have you two here today. Thank you so much.
It's lovely to be here.
Yeah, so tell me both about yourselves and how you got started in aviation.
Well, it was very easy for me. In the 5th grade, I lived in Enid, Oklahoma, and it was there was a big Air Force base there called Vance Air Force Base, and we lived right at the end of the runway. So all day long and most of the night, I watched big airplanes just come in right over my house. So I got fascinated with airplanes at a very young age, and hasn't left me since.
So did you, is this kind of a hobby, or did you work in that
it's a
field?
Hobby. It's a hobby for me.
Yeah. And Derek, tell me about you.
So my aviation career started at 10 years old when I went for a flight in an Army helicopter in Britain. And that was it. I was hooked. And when I was 19, I joined the Army. And then at 23, I became a helicopter pilot in the Army, and then flew for 13 more years, so 17 years in the military altogether. And then I retired and became a flight instructor, flight examiner. I flew contract helicopters predominantly, but fixed wing. Came here to America in 2013, at the end of 2013. To be chief pilot of an air ambulance. Unfortunately, because of a medical event, I lost my flight medical, so became a high school teacher.
Wow.
Teaching aviation technology in Nashville at McGavock High School, and then from there to Tullahoma High School. And it was there at Tullahoma I met this guy, and he convinced me to come up to McMinnville, where I'd never heard of, and we're doing great things up here. So I've been a career aviator all of my adult career.
Yeah, so you're on probably about your third career in aviation then, if you take,
I would say, yeah, and all as wonderful as the other career.
Probably very different too. So what is the EAA, and how did this group, I guess, get started in Warren County?
Well, the EAA is a 75-year-old international organization, and it's comprised of professionals, non-professionals, students, and it's primarily designed to help educate the public on the various occupations in aviation. There's thousands of different occupations other than pilot, and a lot of people don't really understand that or take advantage of it. So that's one of our goals here in Warren County, is to help bring education to the entire county and surrounding counties, and make it available to students from ages 8 to 17 here in our particular program.
Yeah, you really, I guess a lot of people really have to go into the military to learn about all the different jobs that go into aviation. Like you said, not just a pilot. I had a nephew that went into the Air Force, and he ended up, I think, loading bombs on planes and things like that. So didn't end up being a pilot, but and then he still works in that field,
Right,
per se, in a
right.
little bit different way. So I guess, how does all this, you know, as far as the Aviation Leadership Academy, let's get into that and what that does.
I'm going to let Derek
yeah.
speak to that because he's the executive director of the.
Okay.
So the Aviation Leadership Academy is what we refer to in the education fraternity as a career academy. And rather than a high school, so for example, Warren County High School here in McMinnville, rather than them set up an aviation pathway at their school,
Right.
which can be very expensive. Plus, they need, the facilities to do it. And we will set up a aviation career academy at the airport and then partner with local schools. So Warren County High School. We're going back now to middle schools as well. And we'll also give the option to other surrounding county schools for their students to come in to the academy and learn everything there is to be in the aviation industry, whether that's being a pilot, mechanic, air traffic controller, drone operator, drone UAS. So the program will be aviation technology, encompassing most of the main flight-oriented programs within the aviation industry, including, of course, aviation maintenance technician. They're the guys that fix. And so local research has shown that there's going to be a need for over 400,000 pilots over the next 20 years.
Because of retirement and things like that.
Because of retirement. We're at a unique position now because a lot of pilots have been historically retired military pilots, from the Vietnam era and more recently from Iraq, Afghanistan, and those sort of areas. And they're all coming up to retirement and they're not replacing them fast enough. And statistics show that for every 10 pilots that retire, there's only 4 being trained to replace them.
And we're not slowing down in our travel. COVID might have slowed down a little bit, but I think it's fair to say it's back up. And then I've heard those that concern, I guess, as well as in air traffic controllers.
Yeah. Everything needs to be upgraded, updated, modernized. And of course, now we have AI coming into the equation, drones coming into the equation, cybersecurity coming in. So all of these need to be encompassed in aviation. And that's what we're going to be doing up at Warren County, is taking, traditional aviation jobs and bringing them up to the sort of 21st and probably 22nd century and encompassing all of those
Now, if
innovations.
a student takes this path in high school, then where do they go? I guess what's the next step usually after they leave high school?
Well, there's a number of avenues they can go. They can graduate high school with, let's say, a private pilot's license. They can graduate now. AMT, Aviation Maintenance Technician, is opening up in the high school part of education. And so they can either go to a flight school for flight, or they can go to a 2-year college for aviation maintenance technician, or they can go to a 4-year university like MTSU Aerospace. But the idea of the high school program is that at high school, their training, which will be done with colleges and universities on what we call dual enrollment. So they'll, as well as earn high school credits, they'll earn early college credit. So then that will be at no cost to them and their parents, which is wonderful. Now, for example, there is a program with MTSU Aerospace where dual enrollment students can do 3 practical courses at high school and also their gen eds at high school, which will look after their complete freshman year of university. So they join MTSU as sophomores, and that saves A lot
Oh,
of
yes,
money.
that's happening more and more with kids as they leave high school. They've got lots of credits, and it's really moving them forward and getting them into the workforce a lot faster, which in this case, we definitely want
Correct,
them
correct.
in there. Also, I guess part of the airport's new things that it has going on is this Experimental Aviation Association. Talk to me, I guess, what that is.
Okay, the local chapter here that where we're involved, we have local businessmen, local business owners, people that just enjoy the flying as a hobby, people that like to build airplanes and refurbish airplanes. So we recently purchased a property that right directly across the street from the airport that has a large hangar type building that we're refurbishing, and as soon as we get it paid for, we'll bring it up to code for the students to come out and spend some time working on airplanes, actually hands-on. They'll learn to rivet, they'll learn to cover fabric on fabric cover airplanes. They'll learn how to do light maintenance, and of course, eventually, as the academy grows, they'll get into more advanced information. But this is just kind of a ground floor for them to start getting interested and learning how to work with airplanes and know what they're for.
Right, and this is the first year, I guess, will this school year be the first year you all have students, or is it still kind of being built?
It's in the process.
It's being developed now. We're well into the development of it. So I would suggest we will get students in through the door of the existing building in the spring semester. So after Christmas, that's what we're aiming for. And then for the main program, obviously depending on funding, we're looking to get them in the door fall of 2026-27 school year.
And will you all be potentially working, I know you mentioned other high schools in other counties, maybe reaching out to some of the private schools as well? Is it potentially open to your Covenants and Boyd Christians and some of the private high schools
Oh,
as well?
absolutely, absolutely. You know, high school students, wherever they go, you know, they have the opportunities, and they should have the opportunities for any high school student, wherever they are. And of course, you know, we'll also be working with middle schools because we need to work with middle schools to get the students interested before they come up to high school.
Right,
And,
right.
We'll be doing very small programs with them at first. We've got what's called a build and fly program, and they'll actually put together small airplanes and build them from scratch. They'll put them together, and then they'll learn how to fly them with the radio control modules, and things such as drones, which is a very similar type program, and they'll have some more or less not a playtime, but a very relaxed, enjoyable learning experience. Hands-on learning
rather than
experience.
academic.
Right. Well, now, we hear so much about drones these days. Does that seem to be the kind of the new field or new place that aviation is going?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, they're doing things with drones now that they used to do with helicopters and even, you know, light aircraft. And if you look at it from an end user's point of view, let's look at the film and television industry or the, you know, NASCAR and sports and things like that. In the past, they would use a helicopter costing, you know, $10,000 an hour, or not quite that much, but certainly $10,000 a day. Whereas now they can use a drone to do exactly the same thing, probably better, and probably costing a fraction of that.
Now, I know we purchased a drone here at Channel 6 probably, it's probably been 8 years ago, but all of that has tightened up a lot. You know, you've got people that purchase drones, but it's gotten a lot more serious, and they have to have potentially licenses as well,
Absolutely.
too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Part 107. I mean, the FAA is, you know, working towards regulating them more, making them safer. In fact, Part 107 is being superseded now next year by Part 108. At the moment, you're not allowed to fly a drone out of line of sight. You must be able to see it.
Right.
But Part 108 covers beyond line of sight. So you can, because drones these days, you can program them and press a button and they just go off and do their thing and come back. And really, you don't need to be able to see them. You can watch through the camera. and
Right.
Stuff like that.
I
So-
know we've taken ours up, and it's easy to get out of line of sight very
yes.
quickly.
It certainly is.
Well, and you don't want to, we're always conscious of not getting too close to the airport and things like that. As they gain popularity, you've got to be very careful about crowds and
Yeah.
how I think there are people out there that don't realize, it's like the cool factor, but there's also a lot of safety
That's
that
right.
people don't really think about. I never thought about it being too close to the airport, but there is some potential danger there, I guess. But it's
Yeah,
a great hobby.
They've had some serious issues at some of the larger airports with just recreational people trying to take close pictures of aircraft coming and going. They're very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
So they're tightening up on it.
Well, and it's a security issue too,
Certainly,
you know.
certainly.
There is that. The main thing, though, is, a drone, even the small drones, when you've got an aircraft doing 200-300 miles an hour and it hits even a small drone, it's a problem.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
problem. And of course, they have no radios on drones.
Right,
So
right. So they can't
The
communicate.
aircraft don't even know they're there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely so. It's just something that potentially could hit the aircraft and cause a catastrophe. Talk to me, I guess, also about the Young Eagles program.
Okay. That's a part of the Experimental Aircraft Association's programs to generate and develop interest for young people in aviation. It starts, again, at 8 years old. We bring them in, we give them a free flight.
Oh, wow.
They get to handle the actual controls. They get to understand. The pilot will tell them, how the airfoil works and how to check the engines before they start up and all that, the safety issues. And then that generally generates a lot of excitement. The biggest grins you see coming out of those airplanes, and in fact, last week we flew 17, I think, new Young Eagles, and they just, and then they become part of our chapter. We actually give them, we actually give them a logbook to log the time that they spent with their pilot. And that stays with them. That'll start their aviation career, and it can stay with them the rest of their life.
That's awesome. And did they call, I guess, the airport to kind of get information about the program?
We announce it, and there's an online registration.
Okay.
We do them about every other month. And so we try to give it a lot of publicity so that people know when we're going to be doing it. But we've got a coordinator who handles it all. He sets it up, makes sure we've got the pilots and the ground people, the safety people to be with the parents and so forth. So it's an exciting program because it develops over the years, and hopefully once we get some traction here with the high school age people, we're going to be seeing some young people come out of high school with their pilot's license and be able to actually take you for a ride. So
That would be awesome.
So at Tullahoma High School now, we've got
Yes.
juniors as private pilots.
That's
And
amazing.
one of them doesn't even drive.
And it's kind of like a career, that's a pretty good, well-paying job that they could go into, move anywhere they want to, I guess, and work.
The aviation industry is one of the highest paying industries in the world, really. A qualified pilot flying airlines will start on $150,000 a year. And potentially the new pilot would be 21, 22 years old, which is not too bad. Other things about the EAA as far as the flights are concerned, all of the pilots and the ground crew and the coordinators, they've all gone through background checks through the schools and everything like that. But the other wonderful thing about Young Eagles is there's also an adult Eagles.
Okay.
Right.
So now, so Young Eagles goes up to 17.
17, right.
So 18 and above, they would become Eagles. And they can do the same thing. They can contact EAA Chapter 1700 up in McMinnville and say, can I arrange an Eagles flight? And off they go. One more thing about Young Eagles and Eagles is when they've completed the flight, they get a lovely certificate, they get a logbook, and they get a free online private pilot course from Sporties, I believe.
Right.
And that costs around $350, and they get that for free.
Wow.
And that's the course you need to take what we call the FAA private pilot written exam.
It's kind of your first, I guess,
That's
step
your
into
first.
that, right?
That's your first big exam to come into the aviation industry.
That's a nice perk. Tell me about when you all meet, I guess, monthly here in Warren County.
We do. We meet the formula is we have our fly-in breakfast on the third Saturday of every month. So the Thursday before the third Saturday, we have our monthly gathering of our members. It's just an hour-long meeting at the airport to go over some of the topics that might be interesting to them at the time.
And the fly-in breakfast, that's open to the public,
Open.
kind of a fundraiser for you
It
all?
is. It's a
Okay.
fundraiser, and I'm glad you mentioned that.
And I'm telling you, the food is crazy.
We have had
Crazy good, right?
Yeah.
Crazy good, yeah, absolutely.
we have people from all over, from Georgia, Alabama, Kentucky, had one in from South Carolina the other day, and of course all over Middle Tennessee that come in. And so far we've been judged the best of the best because most chapters like ours do this same type of thing.
Right.
And so we've been judged the best of the best. We have some great participants, and we have a good time.
Now, are your members the one doing the cooking,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yes.
okay, awesome.
Luckily, we are so fortunate. In addition to Derek, coming along across Derek, one of our members moved here from Florida, and he was called the Pancake Man in Florida.
Blueberry pancakes.
Blueberry
wow.
pancakes. We have eggs, bacon, sausage, fruit, the whole 9 yards. And
You should all come up next month. It's
yes,
next month now.
Next month, yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
the third
Come
Saturday.
up for breakfast.
And it's open. You don't have to necessarily fly in.
No,
Anybody
no,
can come.
and
The general
come-
public.
It's a fly drive-in.
Fly drive,
Uh-huh.
right.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
How many aircraft did you have come in?
We had 53 aircraft come in Saturday, and then we also had about 148 people that we fed in 2.5 hours.
So, we mentioned before we went on air about, I'm not affiliated with and don't really, fly small planes, but the airport, our local airports like that are very busy, aren't they?
Yes, and of course, you can probably speak to the business side of an airport. It attracts companies. A good local airport with lots of activity attracts companies to relocate to a place like this. Our airport commissioners are working overtime trying to make our airport available to companies to come in and build their own facilities. So we're really fortunate to have a supporting airport commission and county commission, for that matter. They're all very behind growth, and so that we can bring more businesses into the county and provide more employment.
Airports are very important to the community for that exact reason. Big corporations, when they're considering moving to a state or moving to a county within the state, one of the main things they look at is the airport because, their staff, their executives, their customers, they don't really want them to drive in because it takes too long. They want them to fly in. And when you've got a good local airport, and Warren County Airport has a runway that can take, most, if not all, general aviation, including private jets in. And they've got all the facilities to look after them, to house them. And But yeah, they're very welcoming in airports. They're very innovative, aren't they? You know, they've embraced EAA Chapter 1700 and the Aviation Leadership Academy.
Absolutely.
That's
they're
awesome.
with
really
open
excited.
arms.
Well, I know.
As well as the Warren County schools.
Yes.
Yeah, all of the support that we've received from
Dr. Swallows
Dr. Swallows on down
and
has just been
the
wonderful.
school board,
Yeah.
you know, the school
Takes
administration.
that support, yes, to
Yeah.
bring in, because it is a little something new to think about training people that young in aviation, but that's very exciting.
Well, the word free caught them right
Yeah.
at the very first.
This whole Aviation Leadership Academy program is going to be done at no cost to the schools or the students or the
Oh,
parents.
that's a good
nothing.
point. That's awesome.
And the other wonderful thing about the Aviation Leadership Academy program is, you know, people think we've created it just for students to have a pathway into the aviation industry. But with drones and UAS, unmanned aerial systems, that's not the case anymore because, of course, they're used by first responders, they're used by agriculture, they're used by TV companies, they're used
Utility companies
across.
are using
A
them.
drone now will be incorporated in any industry. So if schools might not have an aviation program, a CTE aviation program, but they'll have an ag science program or a criminal justice program, or drones are
all
an
part
integrate
of that.
part of
Yeah,
that now.
yeah. I know in out west, specifically like California, most utility companies are using those to survey their land and find
Yep.
breaks
That's all
in
I would
lines.
say 85-90% now of industry use drones rather than aircraft. And within the
It's
next 10 years, that'll be 100%.
Much cheaper way of getting the job done for
Well,
sure.
our own Warren County Police Department has drones that they use. They exhibited them at one of our events, and it's amazing what they can do. You don't think of all the applications that
Right.
they can
I
do.
know the last time I can remember one being used is we had a gentleman that wandered off. He was an elderly gentleman, and they used the drone to help find him.
Yep.
And it can
Right.
go and see places that we on foot cannot find.
That's right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. And of course, we have the rivers here too, and lots of applications there as far as finding stranded people that are
Right.
on the river. So it's a
Right.
great industry. Well, thank you. Is there anything we haven't covered? My word, there's just a lot for the.
Oh, we could go on for days.
Yeah, how long have we got? Well, one of the really important things about, the EAA Chapter 1700 and the Aviation Leadership Academy is we're looking for funding options, and we're also working with the local legislators, and so there's funding options there with state departments. But community, we really want the community to be involved with this, because it's for their future that we're doing this. The students, high school students, people look at high school students, with sort of one eye closed. But high school students are one of the most important people in a community, because they're the future of that community. And we want the community to be invested in that, and to show these students that they are important and that they are being supported by their community, by industry. And, that is very well talked about within the community, but we need the community to step up with a few dollars.
And are you all a 501c3?
501c3.
We are
So
501.
every penny you donate is tax deductible.
Right.
And,
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
we're
good.
an educational charity.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
and of course, that money will go towards the program, and the evidence will be there. And we also welcome the community, anybody in the community, to come up, have a look. We'll show them around. There's not much to see at the moment. It's a building. It's got 2 aircraft in it, which are being built. but transparent, and we want them to be part of our team to support the students.
And I'm sure you all have to, most of you all are volunteers, but money's
All
going,
volunteers, yeah.
towards curriculum, I guess, and things like that is where, and the building itself, you've got to have a facility
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
bring the kids to.
That's right.
So,
That's the important thing. Once we get the building and land paid for, then we have really a springboard to go on to the next step. But the first step is to get the building and land paid for and to refurbish the building up to ADA standards so that we can bring people in safely.
yeah, good points also about the youth and how we've got to invest in them
Right.
to see them
Absolutely.
meet their potential.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been so educational. I need to have you all back because, as you said, there's much more to talk about
We
as
thank
far
you.
as this goes. And we invite you to come to the fly-in breakfast, fly drive, either one.
Right.
And you said you all meet at,
The third Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m.
okay, at the Warren
at
County.
the Warren County Airport.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry and Derek, I feel like I've just tried to absorb some of this, but it's a lot of information and so interesting, and we appreciate you all
thank
investing
you.
in our
Thank you.
community.
Thank you. It's been
Thank you for
wonderful.
inviting us.
Yeah, and I'll say thank you to our audience for joining us today. We hope you found this enjoyable and educational. Come back again next week for more Table Talk.